where we can make it serious again, I guess. Yeah. I think the example that Jesus gave of grace above all else, and always helping with the people that were the outcasts, and really identifying those people as the people that needed helping the most. And I think that's something that I try to live my life by every day.
I was a youth pastor for a long time, and sometimes you're just dealing with people that, they're going through stuff, not to slam you guys or anything, but sometimes you can be difficult. Yeah. And, but I would always take the time to say, rather than just react to what's going on, I would think to myself, what's going on with this person that's causing them to act this way right now? And I learned that from Jesus, from the stories of Jesus, and trying to model after him.
It comes down to being compassionate and kind. Those are the two things that resonate with me. And so it has to do with how I treat others and how I step back. And what they teach you in education school and teacher school, to constantly reflect on what you have done and what your experience is and how you've treated people and what went well, what went poorly. And I find that often my reflections focus around how I have treated people. When I go back and I look, I'm like, I could have really done better there. And so I feel like that's Jesus' character challenges me to do better.
I've been in church all my life, and I feel like he's influenced all of growing up. I mean, if I were to stay on my topic with patience, I think being able to see myself in situations that are chaotic and troublesome and really bring a rise out of me and be able to go, that's not the right way. Don't react the way you're feeling. Like, yeah, exactly. Keep your resolve and look at it from an outside perspective and think about, really, like what would Jesus do in this situation? Like how can I be most like him in this situation? And to me that always, that's why it was a big trend, because it works. It's good.
I could say in general, since being at Suncoast, I don't know if you hear the specific words, try to be more Jesus-like. I don't know if you hear that specifically, but that message has been part of this place ever since I got here. And I think I practiced that since coming here, trying to be more Jesus-like. You get people on the road that piss you off and get in front of you and brake check you, and you think, yeah, I know what I want to do.
Pull up next to the stoplight, get out of the car.
But what is the right thing to do? And that's just chill back and let them go away, and you just feel so much better than if you do let yourself lose it, So, in general, try to be more Jesus-like.
We weren't big churchgoers as I was growing up, and I kind of always looked for Jesus, kind of felt like I'd go bum church off of my friends. And so when I got into college, I went and checked out different churches and stuff, and there was one church, and all of their teachings were pretty much based on Christ. And it was like, this is what I've been trying to learn. This is what I wanted to get at. These ethereal, they walked here and traveled through this desert and all of this. I connected with his stories. So it was a really easy way for me to get into the church. And now I've worked for a church for 20 years. Nice. So I guess you could say that maybe shaped me a little bit.
I always went to college. I went to my freshman year, and I ended up coming back. And helped out with the church again. And then I went to FAU because that first college didn't work out, and then I ended up coming back to the middle schoolers again. So I don't know if it's a sign or, if I'm supposed to be here or not, but I feel like they help my character overall just grow as a person. And I always come back to the youth. So we'll see what happens.
Probably when I first started coming here, my friend brought me here, and I was kind of iffy about it, but then I started to I just went anyways. And ever since I've been going, it's just it shaped me into the person that I kind of wanted to be, confident and open, having an open mind to things, and yeah.
There's this part when, I think it's in Luke, when he's being taken up to the cross or whatever, and he is literally like being hung and called all these horrible things, and people are just being awful to him, and he still cries out to the Father, like, Lord, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. And that always was like, because like who else would do that,
yeah,
you know?
Someone nailing you to a cross and you're just
right.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and to not be like bitter to them or judging them for it, because he knows that they don't see the ways that they really are in. And that just always stuck out to me, like even when he is literally being hung and just has all these awful things happening to him by these people, and he still is like has a heart for these people, like crazy cool.
I went through a divorce many years ago, and I was in ministry when that occurred. And I remember my counselor trying to deal with what she perceived as guilt in me, which I did have some guilt, but by repeatedly saying, you know, Brett, that God loves you. You know, Brett, that God loves you, right? I mean, he forgives you. And I kept saying, yes, I know that. But that's why I want to please him. I want to do the right thing because I want him to be honored. And finally, she realized that I was troubled not by the idea that he wouldn't forgive me, but troubled by the idea that I would dishonor someone who loved me so unconditionally. And I realized for myself that I really do believe that. I'm moved by that. It changed the way that I thought about life, myself, the people in my life. And so yeah, that's one of many stories that I could tell where he changed me over the course of these last 53 years. Yeah.
I tell you, one of the things I think that helped me more than anything is just the realization that I'm loved. That I grew up in a church that said, no, you gotta, dress this way. You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do, everything's about what you don't do. Back then we didn't go to movies, we didn't dance, all these kind of don'ts. But when I began to realize that God loves me just as I am, it was so liberating. Those things really don't matter. What really matters is loving your neighbor and helping people. And I think at Suncoast as a church, what we're trying to do is we help our community, we give away cars, we do oil changes, we do a lot of things for the community to help them.